The next thing is to do with timely feedback. You hand it in, 50 minutes later you get it back. That has a real impact, has a huge impact. Anything that can turn around feedback that fast is going to work much better than teachers doing it and getting it 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks later. It's not just timely here, but it's influential. Now this, I said it could be wrong. It didn't seem to matter. They got 85%, even if the feedback was wrong. I think that's a very interesting phenomenon. Experiential learning cycle. Do, reflect, think or form principles or explanations, plan, use those principles to decide what to do next time. This cycle, it's called all kinds of different things, appears in literature all over the place. It's part of rational emotive therapy, it's all kinds of things. It's always the same 4 things in the same sequence. It's a model of how people learn from experience. Now what the crucial thing here is whether students reflect on what they've done. Now your feedback is an input into that reflection. It isn't the reflection itself, it's not your feedback that they're learning, it's the thinking they do about the feedback which is their learning. You've got to make this reflection happen so that they think, oh, I did that well, I did that badly, so what I'm supposed to do is this, so next time I do something else, and you cycle forwards, you do it better, you notice more, you understand better, you make better decisions. So the whole thing gets more and more sophisticated as you go along. What matters are what are the inputs to the reflection. Now it's clear from a lot of the literature about teacher feedback to students that it often is not a very good input to reflection. It happens too late. One of the other things that is going to turn out to be very important, because I'm not going to do that again, at least not for a long time, so they don't bother with it. There has to be a cyclical process of a number of them, one after the other, otherwise students won't reflect in order to decide what to do next time. One of the crucial things about assessment is that it has to be cyclical for it to work in terms of improving what students do. One-off activities produce almost no learning. You have to have sequences. So the impactful thing is partly here that it happened week after week, and students would say, I keep making that error, I must stop doing that, or those kind of things, and next week they don't do it anymore. The other thing about the impactful here is that it was visceral. And the fact that it was wrong didn't matter, it was angry, that's what mattered. I mean, stuff that you're not allowed to do. The rest of the stuff here, I think, is all to do with the nature of feedback and learning through assessment, the actual making judgments. So I think academics learn a lot about how to write journal articles and submit them through acting as a reviewer, seeing other people's journal articles, spotting what people do well and badly, and tuning up their own approach to the same kind of task through seeing lots of other people's work. It's the act of making judgments that tunes up that sense of what quality looks like and enables you to supervise yourself while you're writing. Somehow you have to internalise those standards. And I think the way you internalise standards is through making judgments. I think students have to make judgments, and as long as they leave all the judgments up to somebody else, they're going to make very, very slow progress on this. They have to start making judgments to internalise this stuff. And some of this is, in this case, it would be error spotting. Oh, I make that error myself, silly me. Some of it is about qualitative judgments, and we'll come on to other examples about it. And then there's the business of self-supervision. If you looked at all the possible educational interventions you could make and review all the literature in each area, does it help to stream students? Does it help to hold them back a year if they haven't passed the course? Whatever you can think in educational systems that people might do, you can collect all the evidence about each of them and see how big an impact it has, and people have done all that, and then you can rank order these in terms of which educational interventions have most impact and which have least, which regularly have negative impacts, even though it's national policy in some places. The ones right at the top are to do with changing the learner, to do with, in the literature it would be called metacognitive awareness and control or something like that. The students become more aware of what they're doing, and they make conscious decisions and have some sense about whether they're good decisions. They have some level of awareness of what they're doing while they're studying, and they become more sophisticated at it. They say, I've seen one of these before, I did this wrong last time, what I'm going to do is this, and if I do it right, then it'll work out in the following way. You have some kind of commentary you could make. Students who have no metacognitive awareness and control can't tell you anything. I used to, at the beginning of my career, I did study counselling, individual students who went to the counsellors because they were failing. If the counsellors decided this wasn't an emotional problem, but a technical problem, they were bumped off to me. And I had a case study of students who had severe study skills problems. And I would say, I've got no idea what's going on here. Are you reading a book at the moment? They say, they get it out. They say, can you start reading? I'm just going to get on, and I'm going to come back to you and talk to you about what you're doing when you're reading, because I want to understand what you're doing. And they read for 10 minutes, and then I say, okay, can you tell me, what were you doing? And they say, what do you mean? I said, well, you were reading the book, what were you doing? And they said, well, when I get to the bottom of the page, I turn over, what are you talking about? And they couldn't tell me anything at all about what was going on as they were reading. Whereas if I asked you what you were doing, you were reading, you could probably talk to me for half an hour. You've got a story you can tell yourself about what you're doing for deliberate reasons, and that you read in different ways in different contexts and all that kind of stuff. You've got to get students somehow to be self-supervising with some awareness. They've got to be able to make their own decisions about things. And you have to, that comes from talking to others, noticing that other people do things differently, and that kind of